At the end of today's video, we are going to see this polar bear diving in its wonderful habitat. If you want to know how this has been done, well, stick with me and let's have some fun in today's franchise episode. Welcome back everyone to the Lost Aqualand. We are here in the next episode of the polar bear exhibit and this is the second of two. Well, to be fair, I actually thought it will be 3 episodes, but I decided to put this one now into a relatively condensed time-lapse in which I've cut out quite a lot of things, which I'm going to talk about in this time-lapse, and we are going to have a little bit of a real-time part, just as you would expect it from a franchise. That said, this is not the finished habitat, but I'm going to explain why a bit more in detail in the real-time part, showing you a little bit of the things that I have in mind, which also I will need your feedback of. Speaking of feedback, I will also talk about my ongoing projects in general, so if you guys are interested to that, stick with me in the time-lapse. We're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. But first of all, let's speak about this build. By the way, if you see that the screen is zoomed in a little, don't you worry, it's not on your side, you're not having your YouTube settings wrong or something. I had a little bit of a problem with some of the recording files and I needed to zoom in a bit because they were broken to the outsides. I never had that issue, but I found out in the web that this seems to be normal, and I just zoomed in a bit so that you don't see the fractions and stuff on the sides. That is just kind of a bit annoying. It's like a little bit of a flickering, and I'm assuming that the flickering is going to be a lot worse when you have it on a speed build, and hence I decided to just get rid of it by zooming in. Halfway through that should be fixed, by the way. Now, let's talk a little bit about this education center for the polar bears. I know it has been a rather crazy discussion in the last video's comments. Just as a little reminder, we are doing the polar bear exhibit, even though this is a very conservation-focused zoo. Now, the story we have behind is that we say this is one of the few zoos that have the capacity to have an ongoing polar bear exhibit that at least is conforming, relatively good for the animals in terms of the ADA requirements. That said, it's never going to meet the real-life requirements of these animals, but the animals we are going to be housing in here are most likely going to be those that are living in zoos anyways that do not provide this nice of a habitat for them. So we are talking about animals that can't be released into the wild anymore, hence they will need to live in zoos anyways, and this is why we have this zoo which is housing all these animals. So the idea about this entire project is that they will never have their own animals in a way, but they will have a breeding program, and well, actually, I'm not even completely honestly sure how this would be in real life. Like, would you still let them breed, or would you just let them die out so that at the end of the day, in let's say 10 to 20 years, maybe there are no more polar bears in zoos? I think it kind of is weird if this zoo provides, for example, a habitat that is somewhat good for these animals and they are bred in a zoo and the animals seem to be able to breed, it might actually mean that they have a good habitat in a way. I know it's a very hard topic. I'm not really sure. I haven't set my opinion here fully. I'm a bit struggling. Like I would think so. Yeah, why prohibit? Like why would you not have baby polar bears? But on the other hand side, it might be good in a perspective in a couple of years that there is no more polar bear living in a zoo. However, we all know that this might not be happening, so at least they have habitats that do meet some of the major requirements for them, and this is what we build with this. But today's video will be focused mainly on this educational show area over here, even though show is the completely wrong name here, because we're not going to hold a show with the polar bears. They will be here when they're here. And we're going to build something rather cool as well in the real-time part as well, which I wanted to hide away for the moment being, simply because I had that idea to basically conquer one of the biggest issues this habitat will have, but more about that in the real-time part, because as I said, this is going to be a relatively special habitat in terms of how it's going to be laid out for the different animals in here. So my idea is to be able to house more than one polar bear or more than one family, if you will. It might not be possible in this game, but in real life that would work, and I'm going to show you exactly how my idea is. I did some research, I took into consideration some aspects of what real zoos do, and I also think that the idea how I did this at the end of the day is really working fine. By the way, you now see the biggest struggle of my process of building. I just somehow try to find a suitable path solution to go onto this show area on here. This circular area should be the showcase area for the educator, the education area, and I just could not fit this freaking path completely perfectly fine on it. I did so many things trying to utilize the path as a guidance, and I just couldn't find any logical solution to it because the path never did what it should do, and it totally made no sense. It really made no sense. No matter what I did, and you can see it's always perfectly aligned, but when I did do the path down, it just never worked, and it's been so weird that it didn't work. And at the end, I just moved the whole platform instead of the path just to match it. It's kind of ridiculous to say, but that was such a huge struggle. My God, I was so happy when I was finally done with this, and you can see it sped up quite significantly, and it still is really giving me nightmares till this moment, and it's been actually a couple of days ago since I built this, so I'm just planning this video for today. I hope that I can do more, but the actual situation given at the moment, also with the DLC of Jurassic World Evolution coming next week, and me preparing in the current build with Camp Cretaceous meant that I stepped away from that a little bit. Which is a perfect segue into the promised little talk about the channel and the series. Now, I'm at a point where I'm a little bit uncertain what I should do next. And there are a couple of series that are still ongoing that I want to finish. Now, you all know that Tiny Zoo is still not done, and I'm still lacking the naming episode, which will happen. I did stream on YouTube once now. Honestly, the live stream, by the way, just from views standpoint, I have no idea why YouTube is so bad at views. I even have more viewers on YouTube. It might have been the cause, it might have been that, but I was a little bit confused, to be honest. But it was a good test nevertheless. And for everyone who was in this live stream, thanks a lot again for tuning in and sticking with me. But I will definitely try to stream more on YouTube to see if that was just because of the cause, or if YouTube is just not giving any notification to all of you that I'm live streaming. Because I streamed for more than 3.5 hours, and I think the maximum viewers was like 70, which is way below what I had on Twitch. So it is a bit weird, but it's don't get me wrong, it's not complaining. It's just like I was confused because I thought I would reach more people on YouTube simply because of the sheer amount of followers compared to Twitch. But that said, I will definitely do the Tiny Zoo time-lapse. Apart from Tiny Zoo, not time-lapse, live stream, I'm sorry, I'm confused. Apart from that, I have still Hirschegg, I still have Yosemite, so I really would love to know what you guys want to see next. I also have the Encanto build, I have the movie zoo, so there are a couple of series that I have running. I can't do them all at once, that just doesn't work. I can't do it all simultaneously, so we will always have a swing to one or the other, and who knows what Frontier is giving us with the next DLC, so maybe that requires a new park as well, or a new project. And Koali is also still existing, don't worry, it's not gone. We are doing stuff in the background, but Koali is so far into its development that we can't do scheduled episodes anymore. It's just not doable, because you can't imagine how much work it is to do some stuff in Koali that meets the quality that we have put into it already, so it always has to match that. What I want to know from you guys is, what is the one thing you want to see next? I really want to get a feeling of what is your favorite Planet Zoo project of mine at the moment. So let me know in the comments down below what it is. Just as a reminder, we have movie zoos, at the moment Encanto. We've got Hirschegg, which was my winter series with the Europe pack. We have Yosemite Valley, obviously, the big ongoing series. We've got this franchise over here, and we have one-off projects. So the realistic habitats, for example, and stuff like that. So please go down in the comments now, before we jump over in the real-time part, and let me know what you want to see, and then come back to the video and watch the real-time part, because we're just going to cut over now. Alright, so we are back in the real-time part, and you can see this is the, at least for the moment, finished habitat. And as I promised, we will do some things here in the real-time part. First of all, I did actually pause the game right now to show you some things around, to not mess up with the sunlight and stuff. This is always the most important thing, and we just gotta quickly look. I'm not sure if we even have a polar bear. I mean, I promised everyone at the beginning of the video that we will have polar bears diving in here at the end of the video, but I'm not even sure if we do have one. I remember that we at once had one, but I think I sold it just purely because of the conservation credits, and it really seems like that. So we gotta go and have to look for a polar bear, and hoping to be lucky enough to find one that we can pay. Oh my goodness me, we can actually afford that one. There's no female one, but we are doing this. We just got that one. Yes. That is really cool. Oh my god, that's a freaking expensive artwork. Speaking of that, we can also check our animals real quick before we go on, because I didn't do that in the whole time now, and it's still going on. Everything is going on before we talk about this habitat. Now let's have a look at these fish. Tasty fish for my penguin. How many penguins do we have, and can we sell some? Let me see. How's the space situation going on here? Terrain, space C, navigable land is kind of good. Stat book, I mean, obviously they can have more. Adult population is 14, they can have so much social. Ugh. I somewhat want to give them more space, and I have an idea how to do so without making this look weird. I mean, more weird than it does. Let me just quickly check. It's mostly land, right? Navigatable land area. Oh my goodness me. Okay, so here comes the weird camel. I think we are going to utilize the roof now, and therefore we are going to quickly build them a bridge that goes from here up to there. I think that's going to work real quick, really good, and then we are going to have this available for them. Not sure if I will like this at the end or not, but you know, for the moment being, I'm just going to do exactly this. Not sure if the keeper can actually access then still, if they fit through here or not. I mean, if they don't fit through here, well, I don't care, you know, then they should just eat less, and then things should be resolved. So let's have a look if that works already. We're gonna make this nice looking later, but I just for the moment want to have kind of the welfare situation improved. Oh my goodness, yes. Look at that. I mean, okay, technically they can escape here, but practically they can't, so what we're just going to quickly do is just going to put a fence on top. This is no big deal. So fence. Which one are we going to use? It should be like a smaller one, like a lower one that just works fine. I guess we can actually use this one and then just rotate this and make it. Oh wait, it does stick out then a bit, right? Yeah, never mind. I'm just going to still do it that way because that is just the most likely way to do it. Let's just plop it all over, and I'm going to take care of that in the next episode. A lot better than that, and also I don't want them to be fallen over to the side here. So we're just going to have another one here as well. I mean, hopefully they're not as stupid to just jump down there, but you know what? You never know. You never know what they do. Also, it's kind of nice how I got distracted by that just in the meantime. But this should be good. And now let's have a little looky look about the staff traversable area. Yeah, okay, this is what I was fearing. Now they just can't pass by because that's not high enough, right? How about making this go higher? I don't know how high it needs to be. Oh yeah, that's fine. Now they can go all the way up. Can the penguins still do it? Because it's just temporarily. Let me just check. Oh yeah, they can. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, so that's good to know, because then we can just kind of rotate that a tiny bit. My god. Tiny bit more. There you go. Look at that penguin just sprinting from there to there. Yeah, it's nice. Now they also do have this upper layer. I think it's the best thing ever, because we have so much swimmable area, like diveable area. Now we have enough space for some new animals coming into it. That's really good. Okay, so how about these? Do you have babies by now? How are you doing habitat? What's the issue with the habitat? Is it still the cleanliness thingy? Cleanliness, yeah. That should also be resolved in a bit, because I did get another keeper that is only, you know what, we can actually get another keeper who's only doing that. Staff and keeper, you are going to go into the work zone of seals, and you're also going to clean the habitat, get less payment, and there you go. You can actually clean that by chance. All right, we also have another shop that I put here. Yes, it's overcrowded at the moment. By the way, I just like kind of with the new shops how you can do different versions of it. I quite like it. We do have to put some tiny things in here, but that's about it. Okay, now I got distracted so much. We are 5 minutes into the real-time part, and I haven't even talked about what I wanted to do here. Okay, I'm going to do this while pausing because I can see the weather is changing. I guess, is it? Or am I just stupid? No, it's not. It is getting more cloudy. There's no forecast going, but I'm quite sure there is. So what is going on here is pretty obvious. So we are going to make this habitat rather huge. So the idea is that the whole monorail tour is going all through that area, and this entire space is going to become the area for the polar bear. Now what we're going to do is we are going to really quickly pave that all into rock already. It's going to look super repetitive at the beginning, but that's going to be solved by a lot of things that we do with like hills and stuff, you know. We're just going to do it that way. So just going to make sure that this all looks good, and then we have the main part achieved already. So that's the first thing we do, and then we also do really quickly, you know, that's just going to be very, 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 very rough. I'm going to make that a lot better, a lot nicer looking and stuff for the next episode, but I wanted to just have a somewhat of a good idea to what we are doing here. Okay, so this is that. Okay, so we're just going to build a little bit of hills here and there, just making sure it all looks good. They get some caves and stuff like that, so really making sure they have a interesting habitat for them. So let me just also get all the rock in. I mean, I think they can have some dirt and stuff as well, which is going to be mixed in here around the lake. We even could have some coarse sand in here as well mixed in. I'm just going to do the intensity right down, so we're just going to mix that a bit better. So here goes that, and we also will have some trees in, and because still a big fan of having trees here and there. And also we are going to have a lot of artificial snow, which is going to be painted in here, which is going to go away rather soon now, but we will have these very economic friendly coolers everywhere. So this is why we do this. Okay, now before we go on, I will change the color of the ride. So the track color has to be this kind of bright blue. This is going to be bright gray. This is, I don't know what exactly this is. This is all gonna be the same. There you go. Not sure how exactly the car colors will be done, but yeah. And then we are going to utilize these things as kind of the groundkeeper, which are going to be below. What I'm seeing right now is that this is also not high enough. So we are going to edit this right real quick. I'm just going to delete some of the pieces, and we're going to use that bit over here, shorten that all the way to go a little bit up. There you go. How tall is that? Like, how many meters above ground? I can't really tell. I have deactivated the marker about this. Whatever. Can I have the height markers per terrain sea level? There you go. 32 meters. That doesn't make sense. Terrain relative 7 meters. Okay, 7 meters is fine. 7 meters is about the height that I wanted to go to. Okay, now let's edit the track. And now we are going to have this tour going on here. So we are going to bring this tour around the lake. So this is going to be the main course, but still going a little bit above ground and up, you know, just up and down a little bit, and away from the lake as well. Just making sure that we do not interfere too much with the polar bear when it is in the center. And also your guys' comments about the monorail usage was also brilliant, because obviously you're right, this is also a lot more quiet. If we would consider this being electric and stuff, it's definitely more quiet and not as annoying for the animal than it would be when we are using like a tour, like a car tour or something, even though the car could also be electric. But yeah, I mean, just in general, I think the idea is a lot better to have it that way. So let's bring that all the way back. And then go down, down, and straight. I think that is the height we need to go to. And then we bring it all around here. I think we've got to have to get rid of... Can I have the autocomplete going on already? Wow, boy. That is absolutely fantastic. Not. Okay, let me just quickly go here, and then we are obviously going to, oh my god, why does it do things like that? I mean, it was a lot better with this gentle slope, but we can just have it go subtle in here. So what we can quickly do is we edit the track and smooth that whole thing out so it's looking a lot better. There you go. Okay, so this is more or less like the monorail ride we have. And then these things come into play as promised. So we're going to have these coolers everywhere. And I'm not entirely sure how exactly the radius of these things will be. But we also need to have this because we need to have some, you know, energy provided somewhere in the between as well, which has to be somehow reachable by our staff members. And this is going to be the most complicated thing to do. So here we go. Here is that, and we're going to put this a little bit offset. There you go. And then let's quickly unpause the game. I'm just going to see, does it have energy, by the way? Oh yeah, it's just within the radius of energy. So it should cool down this area significantly, so that in a bit we should be able to see the snow if I did put some snow down here. Or did I actually? Oh, well, I should. Well, the range is... I can't really tell the range, can I? No, it doesn't really show me the range, or do I have to go to... No, it's temperature, it's fine. So, that is weird. Okay, is it cooling down anything here? I'm a bit confused. Why does it not cool things down? So, the range is fine. Oh, it does cool down. Slowly but steadily, right? Oh, I should unpause the game. Maybe that was the issue. Okay, so that is the range you can see over here. Nice. And that means we need to copy these things around this place like so. And so. And like here. Making sure this is still below that, and then just go along here. Now, I'm not going to do this entire video because that's going to be way too long, because now we are making the rest of it. But let me just quickly, oops, wrong button. Let me just quickly show what we do. Now, the basic idea is now that we are going to have this entire area here below the monorail is receiving somewhat of a wall that looks similar to that one. And then the polar bear can go in and out of their areas, and so we can house multiple ones. So this is basically an area, this is an area, this is an area, this is a central area, and this is going to receive like an intelligent in and out switch. And this is why we have many gates in here as well. So remember, we have this like main hub area here, and then imagine the polar bear goes in, and then these door closes because the other ones can't get in. And so every time a polar bear goes into the education area, it closes down the doors, and when it's leaving, it opens up another one, so that you always have an ongoing circle of different areas. I'm sorry, I just needed to drink real quick, but that also keeps the animal actually well educated and entertained, so it always has another one. But yeah, that's about it. We got it. We got the polar bear. We need to get it diving now, which is what I'm going to do, and then we're here back again. All right, as promised, we have the polar bear in here, and oh my god, guys, this took so much longer than I was expecting. But here you go. This is the final view, and I love actually how this habitat turned out in the end, with the polar bear there in the water and everything like that. You've got the view down here, which looks pretty dang cool if you ask me. And we can also just really quickly go into the water selector and change the color to, wait, there was like crystal. I think crystal is exactly the one to go, or maybe azure. No, that's a little bit too much, but we could make that like more blue, and then yeah, just up the intensity a little bit. And I think, you know, we can even get more blue to it, a little bit more like that, and then yeah, I want to go into the Arctic blue. Yeah, there you go. This is somewhat Arctic, I guess. And then we've got this. Look at that. I think this looks really fantastic with the polar bear swimming just in front of us here. Look at that. This is just beautiful. I couldn't get it to dive right now. We've got the head in here. Let me just speed up the whole thing. If it is going to dive for us once maybe, or just doing some other things. Nope, it's not. yeah, not sure why it didn't die for us quite yet, but I love how this all looks, and with the polar bear over here and the people viewing it and everything. I think this is becoming a really cool area also when it's finished with like the habitat in general. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Again, make sure to answer the question that I had going on in this episode. I would be more than happy to listen and read from you in the comments. And as always, if you like this stuff and you haven't subscribed yet, and I know that many people don't even know that they're not subscribed because YouTube is being YouTube at the moment, acting like as if you're subscribed, but then you're not. So if you guys are not subscribed, but you like the content, you want to help me out, just do so by clicking the sub button. That helps me out a lot. And now stay safe, have a good time, and I talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.